a new approach. I'm Chris Warner with how one Southeast Kansas college is changing the way it handles class schedules.
It's a tough time for American consumers with a war overseas and rising prices here at home. I'm Caroline Shively in Washington. I'll have that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Albee. A nonprofit charity that serves patients in the 4-state area ordered to pay more than $8 million because of a bribery and embezzlement case. Missouri attorneys say elected officials in Arkansas accepted bribes from employees and executives of Preferred Family Health Care. In exchange, politicians would provide favorable legislative and official action for the charity. That included directing funds. Several people have pleaded guilty in the case, while others await trial in October. Prosecutors say the nonprofit's board, through lack of proper oversight, is also responsible. You can learn more on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Neosho, Missouri police say a bicyclist was hit by a postal service vehicle this afternoon. It happened around 3:10. Authorities say the cyclist, a 47-year-old Neosho resident, was riding through the intersection of West McCord and North High Street, but didn't stop and collided with the USPS vehicle. The cyclist was taken to the hospital with severe injuries. Doug Haley joining us now. Cold night in store for us, huh?
Yeah, we're going to get a freeze across the region. So what that means is if you have any plants outside that can't take a freeze, you want to cover them up or bring them in. I don't think this is going to be our last one either as we cool down late next week, but looks okay outside right now. If my computer would advance, but it doesn't want to. All the clouds, showers, thunderstorms that we had earlier, even had some sleet this morning are out of here. We did warm up to 51 during the afternoon hours. Clouds are breaking, so the clear skies and the winds are diminishing. That's why our temperatures are going to drop off so much tonight. Do have a thunderstorm threat, possible severe threat Sunday. We'll talk about that here in just a bit.
The computer said for tonight anyway, it's going to be cold. That's all you need to know. It's going to be cold. Doug, thank you. College in Southeast Kansas is making some changes to class schedules based on student feedback. KOAM's Chris Warner has this story.
Labette Community College in Parsons has been offering classes in a pretty typical fashion over the years, but times are changing, and so are student demands. So Labette formed a special team that sent out a student survey, and there was one thing that stood out.
And the students spoke, and we listened, and they said, guess what? If we had a 4-day course schedule week, we would absolutely love it.
One of those students was freshman Taylor Hudgens. She says there's a number of benefits to having a shorter school week.
Because it's able for me to tell my boss to be like, hey, this Friday I can for sure work, so you can have your 3-day weekend. And it also gives me the chance to leave like Thursday nights to travel back home and give me more time with my family.
Hudgens says having a 3-day weekend is about more than just extra free time.
I would get drained having classes every single day, and I would drown in homework trying to push it on Saturday or even Sunday night, because those are the days I would have when I don't have to work.
Kendrick says another benefit is this opens up a day for students to meet with advisors, tutors, and faculty and have more time to get help they need to be successful in college. And there's one more change Kendrick says they're making.
We are changing our class start times. Our class start times used to vary, they were kind of all over, maybe start at 5 or 10 after. Now we are going to start classes at the top and half of every hour.
Hudgens says that's another big change she's looking forward to.
Because I know definitely last semester I struggled with making it to my 7:55 class, my 8:35 a.m. class this year. I'd always have to check my phone and be like, what time is my class? So it's definitely able for me to remember, hey, I have a 10 a.m. class.
In Parsons, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Kendrick says the summer semester is already 4 days a week, and starting this fall, the full schedule changes are going to be implemented. Pitt State officially announcing its next president. The Kansas Board of Regents today met in Pittsburgh and voted Dr. Daniel Shipp as the school's 10th president. Dr. Shipp is currently serving as the Vice Chancellor for Strategic Initiatives at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. Board members say Shipp has a proven track record of developing and implementing successful enrollment initiatives. Shipp says coming to PSU was an easy choice.
Is figuring out ways to weave together what students learn in the classroom and how it connects to what they're doing with their lives outside of the classroom. So that's unique, right? I think some campuses will say that's a priority. It lives in the DNA here.
Current Pitt State President Dr. Steve Scott is going to officially retire in June. People had the chance to stop by the Pinnacle Bake on Main Street in Joplin today and get some grilled food and support the families of fallen Joplin police officers Corporal Cooper and Officer Reed. Proceeds from the $5 meals are also going to Officer Hershey, helping him recover from that recent shootout.
Pinnacle Bank's a community bank. We like to support our community with the events that happened in the last few weeks with our Joplin Police Department. We feel that it's time to rally around them, help them out. They give back a ton to us in our area businesses. So our employees decided to put together a cookout.
Meals were free for first responders. An uncertain time period for the U.S. economy, with war raging overseas and inflation hitting consumers hard across the country. Many economists are watching the markets closely, anticipating the next interest rate hike from the Federal Reserve. The Biden administration, however, believes the economy is in a strong position and is on the road to recovery from COVID-19. Fox Caroline Shively has a closer look at some of the challenges ahead from Washington.
That most likely is going to slow the economy, perhaps to the 1%, perhaps, I think, reasonably to a recession in next year.
It's comments like that that make investors' ears perk up. The former president of the Kansas City Federal Reserve expressing his concerns about future interest rate hikes aimed at lowering inflation. Many economists believe the Federal Reserve is walking a tightrope, and the decision to make borrowing more expensive could halt growth over time.
The Fed has to continue to raise interest rates, because I've lived through 5 recessions in the last 25 years, and they are miserable things. We want a soft landing, not a crash landing.
Republicans have made rising prices a central issue of their quest to take back control of Congress, placing the blame on policies by the Biden administration and Democrats.
Under Biden's policies, Americans are able to afford less and less and less.
President Biden believes the economy is in a strong position. Last week, jobless claims dropped to the lowest level in more than half a century. But there are still areas of concern, including the war in Ukraine and COVID-19.
Well, this is a worldwide phenomenon. We've got strained supply chains. I do hope and think that that's going to phase down, but when we're in a wartime footing, there is also going to be a cost associated with that.
Gas prices nationwide have seen a drop over the last week, but they are still up 45% compared to last year. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
More lawmakers pushing back on the Biden administration's plan to lift Title 42. The decision coming as human smuggling incidents are rising along the southern border. Fox News senior correspondent Casey Stiegel has more.
Human smuggling at the border getting worse, according to officials. Texas DPS pulling over this truck in Jim Hogg County. Troopers finding nearly 24 migrants inside crates on the back of the vehicle. While in the Del Rio sector, border agents stopping 2 U-Haul trucks. In separate incidents, total 39 migrants locked inside. Meantime, Texas officials warn this crisis may only get worse when Title 42 is lifted next month.
You're talking about thousands of people that are going to hit that border that are just waiting across the border.
A bipartisan group of senators have introduced a bill to extend the public health order by an extra 6 months. And now Republicans on the Homeland Security Committee have requested a hearing over Title 42 and other border policies.
It is a public health imperative, not an immigration policy. We will be implementing our asylum process as it was designed.
When Title 42 ends, border officials are bracing for as many as 18,000 migrants per day crossing from Mexico into the United States. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he'll bus some of those migrants to Washington, D.C.
The state of Texas is spending millions of dollars every week in order to fill the gaps on the border.
The Biden administration says it will spend the next few weeks bulking up additional staffing along the southern border. That's the latest from Dallas. Casey Stiegel, Fox News.
KOM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another 4-state hero. Ray Stout served in the U.S. Army from 1943 to 45. And we are proud to thank and salute Sergeant Ray Stout, a native of Chinook, Kansas. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, Nearly 1,000 high school competitors hitting the track today in Pittsburgh for the 33rd annual Jocks Niche Gorilla Relays. Gonna have those details in sports.
We're your shelter.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a chilly day for us today. We had actually some sleet during the morning hours, which I'm sure most of you guys are over any wintry weather, and we have to deal with the freeze for us tonight. We've cleared out, the winds are slowly diminishing, so our temperatures are going to tank. So we are going to drop below freezing, real thick frost in the morning hours. But overall, the weekend's going to be nice. Some thunderstorms are going to roll in late Sunday, so we have to keep our eyes on that. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog, KOAMnewsnow.com. All right, so most of the day we were sitting into the 40s. Once we got a little bit of sunshine in here, we popped up into the lower 50s during the evening hours, and now we're dropping back. 41 in Nevada, 44 in Neosho, Grand Lake sitting at 47, Pittsburgh down to 40, 45 in Neodesha. Very windy once again for us today, but those winds are slowly diminishing. You can see about 5 miles per hour. It's a lot better than what we did have. Let's look outside. 7th and range line 43, westerly winds, light humidity is at 51%. Clouds are out of here. Any showers we had earlier, those are out of here. So pretty much clear skies as this storm system heads away from us. Here's our weather for the next day and a half. Then we got to deal with this storm system out across the Pacific Northwest. That's our next system, which will start to affect us by Sunday evening with showers and thunderstorms. Cold start, clear skies, near 30, great warm up, all the way up into mid to upper 60s, near 70 in our western counties. 30 to start, 61 by noon, 67. It's not going to be too windy. It's going to be a great day. Southerly winds at about 5 to 10. Pretty much clear skies tomorrow night. We will start to get some clouds in here late. And then as we go through the daytime hours on Sunday, the winds pick up, a lot more clouds, but we're still going to push 80 during the afternoon. Now, Sunday evening, we have a front that's dropping in. So along and ahead of the cold front, showers and thunderstorms will start to pop up. You can see this is 8:30, and some of these storms could be strong to severe. It looks like as of this point, the main threat's going to be gusty winds and large hail. The tornado threat is lower, but something we want to focus on over the next day and a half to see how this all comes together. Scattered thunderstorms all the way into Monday morning, and then most of the showers will start to push out of here. So on Monday, because the front drops through, any severe threat stays to our south. But as our next wave kicks in by Tuesday, here we go again. Showers and thunderstorms will increase. Severe threat will return late Tuesday, could last into Wednesday, and then just showers on Thursday and Friday. 67 tomorrow, 76 on Sunday, 70 on Monday, 80 on Tuesday ahead of those afternoon and evening thunderstorms, and then cooling back down, a high of only 53 by next Friday. So really kind of all over the place over the next week.
Tonight's disappointing though, you know, you have to bring back those thick, heavy jackets. So cold.
Yeah, but it's going to be a great day tomorrow.
What are you doing to us, though, Keddy?
I don't know.
We'll see you in a little bit. Thanks so much, man. Coming up, more demands for answers.
A deadly attack at a railway station in eastern Ukraine has NATO allies teaming up at a border. In Lviv, Ukraine, I'm Alex Hogan with more on this story coming up.
The Denver's
on Fox.
The judge's ruling ends a legal squabble between two of America's scouting organizations. Manhattan federal judge Alvin K. Hellerstein ruled the Boy Scouts of America can call their activities scouting without referring to gender. Hellerstein dismissed lawsuit claims by the Girl Scouts over alleged, quote, marketplace confusion when Boy Scouts use the words scouts and scouting in recruitment drives. Hellerstein says the main issue is competition, and both can use the same terms equally in recruiting without likely confusion. More financial relief is on the way for the restaurant industry. The House passed a bill yesterday that included $42 billion in funds for the hospitality industry, including restaurants and bars. The funds could help many applicants who received little or no relief money from the original Restaurant Revitalization Fund. Only a third of all applicants then received revitalization funds. The original filers won't have to refile to get funds. A companion bill also exists in the Senate, and that one is also expected to pass. The U.S. and Poland holding holding joint military exercises near the border with Ukraine after a major attack in the eastern part of the country overnight. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has more now from Ukraine.
Residents picking up the pieces after 2 strikes killed dozens and injured hundreds at this train station in eastern Ukraine. Thousands of civilians were waiting to evacuate on Friday morning.
It was hell on earth. They all had shrapnel injuries.
According to the UK Defense Ministry, the attack came after Russian troops withdrew from northern Ukraine, with some forces redeploying to eastern Ukraine. Russia has denied the attack, claiming Ukraine might have launched it. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky honoring the lives lost as he spoke to the Finnish parliament.
And I would like all of us to commemorate with the moment of silence all those who were killed.
Meanwhile, in southeastern Poland, about an hour from the Ukrainian border, an intensive NATO training exercise with the U.S. and Polish troops to send a message to Vladimir Putin that NATO stands united. Poland's military says it's strengthening the eastern part of the country as a top priority.
We are training together with USA Army forces. We belong to NATO, so we are good soldiers.
Poland's military says the U.S. now has more than 10,000 soldiers stationed in Poland. Also today, Slovakia sending an anti-aircraft missile defense system to Ukraine. Local reports say the secret transfer allegedly took 2 days. The country's prime minister confirmed the report.
This defense system will help save as many innocent lives as possible from the aggression of Putin's regime.
The prime minister making clear that the decision does not mean that Slovakia has joined the conflict. In Lviv, Ukraine, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Still ahead, college getting more out of reach for several.
Americans are being forced to pay more than ever for higher education as tuition is on the rise. I'm Lydia Hu for the Fox Business Network. Coming up, we explain why experts say the pause on student loan repayments will make tuition even worse.
Import Warehouse.
Well, experts say inflation and a push to cancel student loan debt could cause the cost of tuition to spike. Fox Business Network's Lydia Hu has this story.
The cost of college is surging across the country. Over the past 20 years, the average tuition at a public 4-year school has surged 158% to reach nearly $11,000 a year, while average tuition for a private 4-year school has surged nearly 97% to reach $38,000 a year. And more than half of people currently graduating with a bachelor's degree had at least some type of student loan debt. The average amount, more than $28,000. Experts say the current pause on student loan repayments and the loud calls from progressive Democrats to cancel all student loan debt will further increase tuition hikes.
People are going to say, maybe I can borrow a little bit more. Maybe I can pay a little bit more. And the institutions are listening. And that means we're very likely to see increases in prices over the time.
Now institutions are facing growing pressure to increase tuition as more than 1 million fewer students are enrolled in college than before the pandemic. Tuition here at Fordham University has increased more than 6.5% over the past 4 years. It costs $56,000 to attend school here for just 1 year. And if a student needed to take out a loan for a single year, it would take them 10 years, paying more than $560 a month to clear that entire debt. Reporting from the Bronx, New York, Lydia Hu for Fox Business.
Next, how an entire community can be healthier thanks to trees throughout that neighborhood.
Children in Ukraine.
So we've heard that plants are good, right? But this one is interesting, even more interesting, I think. Your health might benefit by having more trees in your neighborhood. A 13-year study by researchers at the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana and Clemson University says trees might be a form of medicine. The study found people with the fewest neighborhood trees had more health problems and spent $374 more a year on health care. Researchers analyzed the number of trees in neighborhoods, concluding trees decreased stress, increased healthy behaviors, and improved, of course, air quality. Decreased stress, you get the birds in the trees, you get the wind going through the leaves. Good stress reliever, I think. I agree. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way. Going to see how some local greenhouse workers are dealing with the plastic pot shortage.
Two men are back in court today after being arrested for impersonating federal officers. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. The latest on this wild story now involving Secret Service agents close to the president.
Toilet paper, lumber, plastic, all these are items we've seen in short supply thanks to this pandemic. While some items are slowly getting back to normal production, others are still putting a strain on small businesses. KOM's Kate Kelly explains how some Joplin greenhouses are adapting.
Plastic doesn't grow on trees, but Gail Navarro can't sell her trees without plastic pots to put them in. And unfortunately, plastic is hard to come by.
There's a shortage globally, especially of the petroleum products. Pots, you know, that's a petroleum product, and so it's worldwide.
Out of the 15,000 plastic pots Navarro ordered, only about 2% have come in. To help, customers are encouraged to bring back their plastic pots so they can be rinsed and reused for a 5-cent credit on future purchases. It's something they've always done to be eco-friendly, but it also helps keep prices reasonable during this challenging time for small nurseries and greenhouses.
This year, you will find that our plants are grown in a variety of sizes of pots because we're putting them in whatever we can find. That doesn't reflect too much of a change in prices because they're a different size, the shape, it's basically the same plant.
Ozark Nursery isn't the only place paying more for plastic. Over at the Joplin Greenhouse, in the coffee shop, cups and straws are also costing more.
There was at one point, that we were searching for just whatever we could find, and we were getting different colors of cups. They weren't the standard, we used to kind of just follow the standard of cups, and we couldn't do that. And straws were hard to find.
It's getting better, but it's still a burden for the Joplin Greenhouse. The cost for plastic products in the coffee shop has nearly tripled. When it comes to plastic containers, the yearly bill has jumped from about $80,000 to $170,000. With customer support, though, both of these businesses plan on supplying plants for a long time to come.
We'll get through it. We'll get through it. I've gotten a lot of things already finally got here after I had to find alternative ways to do it. So I'm getting stocked up for next year.
In Joplin, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
Now, each greenhouse uses different types of pots and can only accept their own containers. That means plastic pots from other suppliers can't be taken. A local nonprofit is giving veterans a chance to do some fishing, relax outdoors. Charlie Tutu Outdoors is hosting Operation Spoonbill. It's an all-expenses-paid event for veterans to fish for spoonbills at Twin Bridges State Park in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. Charlie Tutu is going to provide guides and boats to make sure the veterans are having a good time out on that water. A wild story out of the nation's capital. Two men charged with impersonating federal agents in order to get close to real Secret Service agents are back before a judge today. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in D.C. with more.
Two men back in court Friday afternoon following their Wednesday arrest for posing as fake Homeland Security agents. They have been deemed a flight risk. The FBI says Arian Taherzadeh and Haider Ali were integrating themselves with real Secret Service officers and agents, including ones charged with protecting the president and first lady and the vice president's residence. According to prosecutors, Taherzadeh and Ali convinced agents to accept gifts and pricey apartments. One was offered a gun. At least 4 real agents have been put on administrative leave.
Was this an effort by a foreign power to engage in some sort of either compromise these law enforcement officers, or even worse, access what they knew and get access to their information and travel details and all that other sort of stuff?
When cops raided the men's Washington, D.C. apartment, they found guns, gas masks, law enforcement training manuals, drones, surveillance equipment, handcuffs, and zip ties. They also found a binder of information on every resident in their building, including congressional staff and defense employees. Prosecutors said Ali's passport showed visas to Pakistan and Iran, and that Ali had claimed to work for the Pakistani intelligence agency. Both men are U.S. citizens. It's possible they could also face conspiracy charges. The White House is staying quiet on the case.
I don't have any comment from here. I'd point you to the Secret Service and others investigating.
The two men have been charged with false impersonation of a federal officer. They face up to 3 years in jail if convicted. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
And a bit later, say it ain't so. New research showing dogs can pass potentially harmful bugs to humans.
Dylan, how's the cash 5 years at Slumberland Furniture?
Well, it definitely turned out to be a chilly day for us today. Temperatures only into low to mid 50s, and that actually occurred during the evening hours because we got a little bit of sunshine. Most of the day we sat into the 40s. We are going to get a freeze tonight, so watch out for that. Nice weekend, though, in general. Thunderstorms we need to watch Sunday evening. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog, KOAMNewsNow.com. All right, so mainly 40s most of the day, and then we briefly got into the 50s during the evening hours. Now we're going the other direction, of course. Low to mid 40s across the region. And we'll drop back near 30 a little bit later on tonight. Here's some good news, though. After 3 or 4 very windy days, the winds are calming down. That's good. They're going to stay fairly light tonight, and then once again as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. Outside right now, 7th and range line sitting at 43, westerly winds light. Humidity is at 51%. Pretty much clear skies. We got this system out of here. All the clouds, showers, had some sleet, a little bit of snow early this morning. This is all rolling east, heading away from us. So we look pretty good. We have a nice swath of nothing going on out to our west. So that's going to give us a really nice Saturday and really most of Sunday until this storm system starts to affect us by late Sunday into Sunday night. All right, so let's go through the weekend. Clear skies near 30. So a cold night, plenty of sunshine tomorrow. Looks great. Mid to upper 60s to near 70. In our western counties. 30 to start, 61 by noon, high temp at 67, southerly winds at about 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, we drop back only into the mid 50s, so it stays at least fairly nice. A lot of mid and upper level clouds on Sunday, but temperature is great into the upper 70s. By Sunday evening, there's a cold front that's going to advance in and elongate some showers and thunderstorms. We need to really watch and see how far south this front gets through. If it can move through a little bit quicker, it will shove any strong to severe storms to our south. If it slows down a little bit, it will kind of slide back toward the north and to the west. But right now, we're going to get thunderstorms right along the front. So we'll have to see where that front is because it's going to be near the metro by Sunday night. And if we're on the south side of the front, some of these storms could be stronger to severe, main threat being gusty winds and some large hail. Then it looks like just showers, thunderstorms. After midnight into Monday morning, some morning showers, and then we'll start to dry out, and then most of the rain really kind of slides south and east by the time we head into Monday. So Monday really not that bad. Tuesday we warm right back up, but thunderstorms back in the forecast late in the day. Again, some of those could be strong to severe, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that. All right, 67 tomorrow, 76 on Sunday, 70 on Monday, 80 by Tuesday, but plenty of chances of rain next week.
It's a catch-22 because, like you said, we're going to freeze tonight, but that wind isn't there.
Yeah, so it's nice not to have the wind.
It is. It is. Blake Heddy, thank you so much. All right, coming up in sports, we're going to hear from the Southeast Kansas head basketball coach on his decision to step down after nearly 40 years on the sideline. Plus, Pitt State baseball opening the 3-game series against Rogers State. Jacob Leonard joins us with that and more next.
The Pittsburgh State Gorillas are at home tonight, opening up a 3-game series against Rogers State. Now, the Gorillas enter the day at 21-11 overall, including 15-5 in the MIAA. The Gorillas have been at home for a while. It's game 9 of an 11-game homestand for PSU. Jesse Holguin gets the Hillcats started, drills it up the third baseline for an RBI double. To the second now, Gorillas have the answer, 2 on for Austin Bonnell. He grounds out, but Connor Van Cleve scores. The game is tied. Now Holguin back up in the third. That'll clear the wall in right. 3-run jack. Hillcats quickly regain the lead. In the bottom half, Cruz Aranda back up the middle. 2 runs come in for Pittsburgh State. It's just a 1-run game, but the Gorillas not able to get anything else going. They fall in this one 5-3. Missouri Southern baseball also in action tonight. They put their 5-game winning streak on the line against the first-place nationally ranked Central Missouri Mules. Jordan Fitzpatrick hits a grand slam. Cole Robinson also goes deep for Southern. It's all Central Missouri. Final score 21-6. Colgan boys basketball coach Wayne Sheehan announced on Thursday he is stepping down from his coaching positions with the school. Sheehan is one of the most decorated coaches in Kansas high school history. In his 39 years leading the Panthers boys basketball program, Sheehan's teams won 655 games and 5 state championships. Now this season, the Panthers won their 26th sub-state championship under Sheehan to earn their spot at the state tournament in Manhattan. We caught up with Coach today, and here he is on his decision to step away after nearly 40 years on the sideline for the Panthers.
39 years went by real fast, especially the last 20 when we were having a lot of success throughout the season this year. The night activities, the games, the late practices, that was what was really starting to wear on me. Just the late nights and not being able to, have energy like I usually have. And so I felt like that was the time.
Pittsburgh State Track and Field will be at home tomorrow for the first time this outdoor season, competing in the David Sunram Classic. Today, though, the school is hosting the 33rd annual Jock Snitch Gorilla Relays at Carney Smith Stadium. Now, this one is a high school meet, and it's pretty big. They have just under 1,000 competitors in the field today. Early long jump action, Joplin's Donovan Fowler. No surprise here, he wins it with a mark of 23 feet, 7.5 inches. On the girls' side, Carl Junction's Olivia Vides takes second today in long jump with a jump of 16 feet, 9 inches. Now, we've put a link to the live results in this story on the sports page at KOAMNewsNow.com. That's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Nominate your...
A new jet propulsion system for paramedics could shorten time to get to rescues and, more importantly, save more lives. Some British paramedics are about to suit up in those jet suits. The jet propulsion packs are able to airlift paramedics into mountainous or rugged terrain rescue situations. Now, the suit, as you can see, has engines for each arm with one in the back as well, according to a report. Travel times with such an injury can be reduced from a 30-minute hike or longer to only 90 seconds. The British use is believed to be a world first and could be used in British national parks this year. Can your pet make you sick? New research shows potentially harmful bugs can be passed on from your dog or cat. Reporter Tina Krause has more on new findings.
Whether it's a hug for your hound or a cuddle for your cat, there's no lack of love between pets and their owners.
And they are our family members. We are moms and dads to them, right?
But veterinarian Constance Pomba says close contact is spreading bugs that may not respond to antibiotics.
We have these resistant bacteria in pets and in humans, and they are living together. That's the bad news.
Researchers at University of Lisbon and London's Royal Veterinary College screened stool samples of more than 100 healthy people and the cats and dogs that live with them in Portugal and the UK. In 4 Portuguese households, resistance genes found in pets matched those seen in their owners. In 2 of the homes, bacteria in pets were the same E. coli strains that turned up in their owners.
But then the good news is this transmission is very low.
E. coli and other bacteria are common in the intestines of healthy people and animals, and while most are harmless, some can cause serious food poisoning or life-threatening infections.
The main advice is wash your hands, like we do with COVID. Wash your hands after collecting the feces.
Researchers warn overusing antibiotics in people and pets is also driving up the risk of infection, but say their findings shouldn't cause alarm.
Don't be afraid of having a dog and cat. We should be, reassured that the transmission is low.
So with good hygiene, pets and their owners can keep spreading the love. Tina Krause, CBS News, London.
During the height of the pandemic, researchers were concerned pets may be able to transmit COVID to people, but found that people are actually the ones that can spread it to animals, although these types of cases have been relatively rare. All right, coming up, preview of a new romantic espionage thriller. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has banned actor Will Smith from attending the Academy Awards for the next decade. The decision coming down today. This, of course, after the infamous incident at this year's award ceremony in which the Ali actor walked on stage, slapped comedian Chris Rock for making a joke about his wife. In the nearer term, this announcement means Smith, who won an Oscar this year for his role in King Richard, will not be presenting the award for Best Actress next year, as is Oscar tradition. Smith issued an apology to Rock after the incident. Chris Pine and Thandie Newton team up for a new romantic espionage thriller that features stars having an intense dinner conversation about the past. Here's Fox's Kristen Goodwin with more.
What's the situation?
Chris Pine and Thandie Newton play CIA agents and ex-lovers who reunite to go over an old case in the spy thriller All the Old Knives.
Vic has me looking into Flight 127.
Pine plays a veteran operative tasked with investigating a deadly airplane hijacking that may have been aided by someone inside his agency.
Henry is, again, a dedicated professional that loves his job, but had a traumatic moment early on in his career that jaded him and kind of gave him a real-world view of what was happening in the CIA and how it worked and how it operated. Along the way, though, he falls madly in love, and it's probably the most satisfying thing that's happened to him, but also proves to be complicated.
The assignment leads him to interrogate his former colleague and lover, played by Newton. To help make her character as realistic as possible, the actress worked with an on-set ex-CIA intelligence consultant.
But she combed through the script and was available for any questions. And she also was able to say, this is super authentic, this could be helped if you did a bit of this wouldn't really happen, or so on.
Pine says the film is a combination of a love story and spy thriller and reminds him of the classic dramas of the past.
It's something that Hollywood used to do. I mean, Casablanca is precisely that. And this is storytelling of a certain era that I really enjoy. And Hollywood doesn't seem to really be into making those sweeping romances anymore.
All the Old Knives is now playing in select theaters and available to stream on Amazon Prime Video. In Hollywood, Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
The prompter says, what he said. That's what I should say now. What he said. Someone messed with my script. Friday shenanigans. Nonetheless, what he said. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you tonight with video of a rare antelope calf at the Oregon Zoo. Hey, have a great, safe weekend. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.